All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back. I apologize, I didn't upload very much last week because I was at my mother-in-law's house in Palm Springs. There's nowhere good to film there, and I didn't want to put out content outside my studio because I never like how it looks. Even if the videos are awesome, it bothers me. It just bothers me that they're up there. In case, you know, a new person comes to the channel and they're like, what is this? Is this guy filming in his bedroom? Actually, lots of people probably film in their bedrooms, but not. Anyway, whatever. You understand what I'm saying, okay? So I'm back. And we got UFC 260 this weekend. And I'm going to talk about the fight that matters because I'm going to just say this out loud. And I don't want this to deter anyone from buying the pay-per-view because Francis versus Stipe is like the huge fight. Worth the $60 on its own. But the rest of this card is garbage, okay? Especially now that Volkanovski and Ortega's off the fight. I mean, that just killed this whole card. This card is terrible. There's nothing on this card, okay? But the heavyweight bout is huge. Heavyweight bout is absolutely huge. And I want to talk about Francis as it relates to UFC 260 because this is for this guy, if he wins, to understand the arc of this guy's journey, it is unfathomable, man. And I'm going to say this right now. Now, this will be redundant for people who have been here for a long time, right? Obviously, a lot of people heard about me because I was on a couple of Mixed Molly Wapari videos. Mixed Molly's my boy. Mixed Molly Wapari also has the best YouTube channel on YouTube, okay? If you're an MMA fan and you've never watched a Mixed Molly Wapari video, and which that's probably a low percentage on this particular channel, but I can't even express to you what you are in for when you get to this guy's channel, and I'm going to demand that you and everyone else, even if you watched them when they were first out, every single person that watches this video, you must, assuming that you're a UFC, if you consider yourself a real fan, okay, for the right reasons, you must go to Mixed Molly Wapari's channel and watch the Francis Ngannou videos, okay? The documentaries that he did about Francis Ngannou. I believe one is called Blood, Sweat, Tears. The other one is, whatever. He did them back to back, okay? This guy's journey, I had watched them. I knew they were incredible. I knew how much I was rooting for this guy. And I watched them again this morning and was just like, oh my God. It's just unfathomable. It's to be honest, it's beyond just what Francis himself overcame. It's eye-opening to understand how how lucky we are. A person who has a video camera that I'm talking into. I have lots of shit to be very, very thankful for. But just if you're a person who is looking at a YouTube, video in any kind of shelter, you just don't understand how poor people actually are in other parts of the world. And how hopeless they are. They have no options. None. Zero. And that's where Francis comes from. And what he ended up what he went through in order to just get an opportunity to prove himself.
On that occasion, their boat was spotted, and the crew, I'd assume, were dumped right back in the desert. It took Ngannou a total of 7 attempts over 14 months to finally make it across the sea to Spain. Now, if my calculations are correct, that means he failed 6 times. 6 times he waited in the forest, living like a savage, trying unsuccessfully to avoid the police and a trip to the desert. Before he made a break for it, shredded his ass scaling the hazardous razor wire of Melilla, took the insane risk of boarding a rubber dinghy to hell, only to get picked up by immigration and dumped right back in the middle of the fucking desert. 6 times, with no guarantees it wouldn't take another 6 tries, or 16 tries, or 60 fucking tries. Despite all that, the guy was never so disheartened that he gave up. He never threw in a towel.
In the winter, a lot of people quit because stay in the forest in the winter with no food, sometimes no clothes, is damn sucks.
Eventually, his dogged perseverance was rewarded. On his 7th attempt, his dinghy was picked up by the Red Cross and brought to Tarifa, Spain. As soon as he made it to Europe, things immediately began to improve. Oh, no, wait a second. He was actually sent straight to jail.
It's just unreal. It's just unreal. You have to watch the videos. We're talking living in a forest in Morocco alone with a bunch of refugees. No, he knows none of them. Scavenging for food in the forest, like having to hunt down little animals in the forest. If they get caught by the military brings them out into the middle of the desert and drops them off because half of them will die on the way back. That happens 6, 7, 8, 9 times to Francis. So he can get back to the forest where he's scavenging for food, right? They get on a dinghy, right? And they're just gonna, they're gonna paddle across, they're gonna paddle from Morocco to Spain, which they failed, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. They go over razor wire. Like this story, there's no way I can even do it justice. What he did, and that's just to get to his starting point, just to get to where he can start training in his mid-20s because he's got this impossible dream that he's going to chase. If you watch those documentaries, if you watch the Mixed Molly videos and you're not rooting for Francis, you're a sociopath. Okay, like straight up. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm probably going to title the video that. I hadn't planned that until I just said it. But I think the title of this video is going to be, if you're not rooting for Francis Ngannou, you're a sociopath, okay? But obviously that requires a little bit of research for you to understand why that's the case. But anybody who watches those videos and is not rooting for Francis, you're insane, okay? Or not you're insane, you just have no heart. Or you're wired wrong. So if you like rooting for Stipe, if you really in your heart want to root for, you want to stay ignorant, then just don't watch him. Because if you watch him, you're going to be rooting for him. I mean, you're going to be rooting for Francis for sure. But as it relates to the fight itself, I think Francis is going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Because when you watch the documentaries and you see what this guy overcame and the number of times that he failed and kept coming back and then working and getting better, etc., he knows he's a very deep guy, a very, very smart guy. He knows he's not going to get 7 chances at Stipe. He knows he lost, he fell down, and everything he's been doing since then to now, those are his new opportunities, right? To get back to the opportunity he has this weekend to win. And it's his destiny, man. It's his destiny. It's hard to even put into words if you haven't watched these docs, but when you watch them, he has to win. He has to win. And he's going to, and I believe he will. And I think a lot of people, Stipe being an underdog is ridiculous. But what's funny about it is every pro is picking Stipe. They're all picking Stipe, right? Burns Usman split down the middle. It's not just because he's a champion. Everyone is picking Stipe because Stipe always wins, right? But man, I have a feeling it's Francis this time. Because it's impossible that he's gotten to this point. It's impossible. Every single step of the way where he's gotten to was impossible. Now it's time. And like I showed you guys in the video last week, Francis has been actively working on his wrestling since he fought Stipe. No one's seen it, right? Can you imagine Francis now that he actually is focused on, it's not like it's been a short period of time. He's been training wrestling for 3 years, right? That's not a small amount of time. And how strong he is. If he's getting, he doesn't need to be as technical as a person he's fighting if he's that much stronger. He needs to have technique. Doesn't necessarily need to be as strong or as technically sound because he's so physically strong. He's got anyway, it's neither here nor there. I think he's going to be able to keep Stipe from getting him on the ground, and I think he's going to knock him out. That's what I think is going to happen. And man, I'll probably be live, and if he knocks out Stipe, I am going to jump through the television. So anyway, that is what I've got. Go watch those videos. Mixed Molly Whoppery, the Francis videos. Just go in his videos. He did them there 8 months. It's 8 months ago. You'll see an advertisement for Jesse on Fire on one of them. Look at that. You can say an added bonus. But anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Peace.